We will ask Ron Slay the same question you ask us about the Associated Press poll. The Tennessee Great SEC Network analyst joins us now. Or if you need to finish the text, go ahead. Don't let us interrupt.
Oh no, I'm good money, man. I've been on a whirlwind, dude. I did Radio Row last week. Went straight from New Orleans to Charlotte to do studio work. Then got back today, had a couple of interviews, and I just got a call. My son's going to ninth grade next year, so we had apparently a 10 o'clock meeting with the high school.
Oh, and you didn't make
that
it?
I missed.
Oh.
Father of the year, baby. Father of the year, man. That's what I'm going for.
So who was the phone call? Was it your wife?
No, this was actually the school.
Yeah. So you still have to deal with the wife conversation.
Yeah, see, that's good. She's resting. The dad handled all that.
Okay.
Hey, so before we get into hoops, how was the Boom Boom Room for Super Bowl 59? Did you hit all your bets? What was the food and drink layout? How did it go?
Hey, man, listen, I'm telling you now, I went to a spot down there. First of all, that's my first opportunity to go to New Orleans as a non-player and get to venture out into the city. New Orleans is something else, man. It's everything as advertised. The life, the nightlife, it's something different. If you've never experienced it, I would say go experience it and get out of there quickly. The restaurant, the food that I had was phenomenal. I have a favorite restaurant now, man. That's in New Orleans. That is the Commander's Palace. Lord,
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
oh, the best. And listen, I'm not even a big seafood guy. I did taste tried the gumbo as an appetizer, was phenomenal. Had a little shrimp. But the steak I had was the best steak I've ever had in my entire life, man. Wow. Then the presentation of the bananas Foster.
Ooh.
They make a hell of an old fashioned. It was
You sold
It was
me.
Hey, and you see the results on your tab too, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I also saw the results in my bets. I must have made them after the fourth old fashioned. It didn't pan out the way I needed it to.
Did you have KC yesterday?
Say it again. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Man, listen, I'm all for never picking against Mahomes, man. But I think you got a little fan dust in my eyes when I was making the bet, not really realizing how good Philadelphia was coming off the edge and that pressure they can put on the quarterback, and not understanding how much Mahomes masked of his offensive line.
Yep.
So I got food in that one.
Yeah, their 2 Super Bowl losses I don't put them on Mahomes. I put it on their offensive line against the Bucks and yesterday against the
Absolutely.
Eagles. They couldn't protect him at all. In basketball terms, I was at the game on Saturday when Florida comes in and they beat Auburn. Shame on me. I had Florida as a team that could win the national championship until I saw them lose by 20 in Knoxville when Tennessee didn't have Ziegler. And I was like, how in the world can they lose by 20 to Tennessee when Tennessee didn't have Ziegler? So I backed off of them a little bit, but then they proved themselves. What did you see in that Florida-Auburn game?
First off, let's address what we see throughout the SEC. This is, if it was a character that you had to play in the SEC, that had to play the SEC, it would definitely be the Joker, because it's not ever what it seems to be. You see a smile, but believe me, it's some conniving going on behind it. There's a lot of things that's being masked with the Joker's mask. You can't take a game that's happening, especially on the road, and think that, man, this is who my team is. I don't think this is anything. I just look at it as a slap of the wrist to Auburn. But I think it goes back to what you believed you saw at the beginning of the year when the SEC season started. You look at Alabama, you look at Auburn, you look at Florida, you look at Tennessee. All of them can go to the Final Four. All of them can compete to win a national championship. Don't get it misconstrued by what happens in the conference because of the conference being this deep. Now, Walter Clayton Jr. is a problem. Walking into it, I thought he was one of the guys that could challenge for SEC Player of the Year, and he reassured that case going into Auburn and playing the way he did. I thought also their strength is the depth of the interior when you start to talk about Florida. They got 4 guys that they can throw at you. Alexis, Chinaloo, Condon, and Houck. They can all throw guys at you that can play fearless. When you can play that style of basketball against a guy like Janai Broome, who you have to make work, you got to keep them in action. You got to make them be able to turn and box out. That's a little different. You don't have to look over your shoulder and worry about, man, if I get in foul trouble, is somebody else coming in? Regardless if you get in foul trouble for Florida, it's somebody else coming in because they're that deep. For them to go and do it without Elijah Martin, I think is huge. But it just also shows what that conductor is and what he means to these programs. If you see a Zakai Ziegler out, if you see a Tahad Pettiford sit out, if a Mark Sears sit out, if you see a guy like Lamont Butler sit out, it changes the dynamic of these teams drastically. The point guard play is serious in this league. You can get by a game or two without having that forceful wing or that low post guy. But the way this league is set up, without a point guard, you are in trouble. With the point guard, you can go beat anybody.
Ron Slay, SEC Network, with us. I think it was Todd Golden postgame. Maybe it was one of the Florida players say, we were just going to stay on Broome's right shoulder that whole game. Stay on his right shoulder that whole game. So for dummies like me in our audience, as a big guy, tell me why that worked to a certain extent and what it does to Broome.
Now, this is Broome is phenomenal and super efficient, whether going to right hand or left hand. But if you stay on that right shoulder, he pounds you and pounds you under the basket with his left shoulder to turn back over his right shoulder and shoot with his left hand. That's his comfort zone. What they were able to pick up on and say they were going to live with, regardless of if he made it or missed it, we're not letting him turn back over that right shoulder and get to his comfort zone and shoot with his left. Yes, if he gets all the way up under the rim and he shoots with his right hand, cool, we'll live with it. But what you wanted to continue to do is put contact on his body. They kept the body on him. We call it walling in the post. When you play defense and your arms are vertical and it's almost like dummy defense, but you have to score over a person. You don't create the angles for Janai Broome, who is phenomenal at creating angles for himself. That right there is when Auburn needs a basket and he's a mismatch and there's no double team coming, what he would do every single time is back you all the way under the basket as far as he needs to, go back over right shoulder. That stops the bleeding to any run. He wasn't able to do that. Now, granted, he missed a couple of his shots, and I don't think Janai Broome would do that, but that's all it takes for a team that's heating up and playing the way that Florida is. So, I mean, it was a perfect storm. It happens. Miles Kelly didn't shoot. Well, he did shoot well.
Yeah.
Denver Jones didn't really give him much. Chad Baker-Magazar didn't really give him much. So that's what makes Auburn so potent, that they get it from all different sources, but they all get it together and collectively. It's never one person running around with 40 points and everybody else having 6 or 2. It's always even, 24, 18, 16, 12, 14. That's the way they operate. Florida was able to capitalize on that.
So the 14-game win streak is over. If you had to give me right now your top 5 SEC power rankings, how would you go 1 through 5?
Still Auburn at 1. 2, I'm going Alabama. And I think it's crazy, man, that this is how strong the league is. You got a team like Alabama that returned everybody that's flying under the radar. Not only for the SEC Player of the Year, Mark Sears, but also SEC Coach of the Year, Nate Oates, flying under the radar. Final Four team that brought back their core. We don't talk about. It's wild. I don't talk about them either. Not just pointing the finger at anybody. I don't either. But Alabama is 2. Tennessee is 3 for me. I think it was there was big losing Estrella. That was humongous. But some reason Dubar seems to be stepping up at the right time for them to kind of fill that void. They would be 3. Florida would be 4 for me, and then Missouri. Even though Missouri got beat, Missouri is tough. They bounced back. They got a plethora of guys that is hard to key in on one person. So Missouri would be 5 for me.
You said Florida somewhere though, right? 4 or somewhere in there?
Yeah, Florida. Florida's at 4. Yeah,
Okay.
Florida's at 4. No
Okay.
question. Now, I know that was a little long and drawn out.
Yeah,
but
no, I want to make my eyebrows. My eyebrows.
I'll do it quick. I see you ain't got your headband on. So
Come on, Dunaway.
Auburn, Alabama,
Okay.
Tennessee, Florida, Missouri.
There you go.
Okay. Because I was confused there when you went Tennessee. I blacked out a little bit ahead of Florida. Because wow.
Well, they beat them by
No.
20 a week ago.
Yeah, but Florida beat them by 30.
Well, that was
Okay, now wait a minute.
Yeah.
Power rankings. You're going for power rankings. We going week of, correct? Or are we going throughout the whole SEC?
I would say in the moment.
Yes.
Whatever, Slay. I'm with you, man. I'm with
Now
you.
wait, now what you got to see? Now wait a minute. 6 scholarship players were played in this game versus Florida, who had a fully loaded clip. So this is what I'm gonna tell you. We're going to school today. You don't get a lunch pail. You don't get any lunch money. You don't get anything. What are you going to do for lunch? When you see Florida walk in with a whole smorgasbord and they got catering going on, who's going to eat the best, if you would think?
Did y'all eat too much in Gainesville when you lost by 30 to them?
No, man. No, Florida punked them boys. That's all it was.
Was that in this calendar year?
Yeah.
So this is what you got to watch for. This is what you got to watch for. The return flights.
Okay.
Everybody is cool with going to the destination, but when it's time to come back home, that's the games you got to watch for. I'm going to tell you one you got to watch. Vanderbilt this week. It's going to be tough. Vanderbilt beat Kentucky, beat Tennessee. Now guess what they got to do? Go on the road against 5 ranked opponents. You know what 2 of those opponents are? You got to go to Big Blue Nation, and you got to go to Knoxville.
Yep.
So it's going to be difficult. That return flight is something else, man. That hangover, woo, it's cool while you're having the fun. But when you come back home and set your feet on the ground, it can get a little blurry.
Hey, Alabama, and we still expect Nate Oates to shoot threes.
Yeah.
But it is starting to become very evident this is a more at the rim team than last year's team. Why is that working for this team? They only shot 20 threes at Arkansas. They only hit 5 of them, but they score 56 paint points, and they seem to be so good at the rim. Why is it working for them at the rim so much?
Jim, you must be listening to SEC now, watching me break these games down. I see what you're doing right there.
I was on the road. I missed it. No, I'm a Slate fan. I consume everything you do.
No, man. I think that's one of the things, man. You get so caught up on exactly what you said. The blueprint for Alabama, especially when you look at their guard play, is to get out and contest threes. Aiden Holloway doing a great job. Young blood has come on. Mark Sears, for sure, you know that. Even the big fella, the 7-footer they put in, Sherelle, you got to get out there and defend the 3. So when you run back, you're conditioned when you're playing a Nate Oates team no longer to run to the rim and build out. Now with Nate Oates' team, you run in transition to the 3-point line, find your man, and with the ball swinging, which is Alabama's doing a great job of the ball hopping, you get more times of breakdowns. And guys, LeBaron Philon being able to get out inside, Grant Nelson being able to use his pump fake. You got so many different guys, man, that are being able to get to the rim and not have anyone challenge them. It just be a one-on-one. So they're doing a great job of turning down shots and being able to get all the way to the rim because the help side isn't there. The help side is stuck with their man because of the ball rotation was so good, and you ran back to defend your guy at the 3-point line. Now, all of a sudden, on the weak side where the ball was, you're not turning quick enough to get back to your normal defense because you're playing a Nate Oates team. You're worried about the 3. That one-on-one breakdown, there's no help there. Great job getting to the paint. It's almost, I hate to say it's simple because everybody would be doing, but they're paying attention more to their detail.
Alabama stayed on the road. They went to Austin last night to watch the Super Bowl. They'll play in Austin tomorrow night before coming back to Tuscaloosa for that big game against Auburn. I said earlier, Slay, it felt like Nate Oates, it's the perfect win for him. You're up 18 on the road against what everybody was saying was a hot team, but then you lift it a little bit and you let him back in the game. So he gets the win and he gets the coaching moment. That's a coach's dream right there.
Absolutely, and especially what you're about to walk into. You're going into a Texas team that, just like Arkansas, back is against the wall. Every game they play is for their NCAA berth. Understanding that, man, it's a possibility to get 13, and now listen to Joe Lunardi, 14 teams in. Okay, cool. But the teams, your opponent, they're going to fight fearless to quote Coach Cal, they're fearless and they're out there punching. That's what Texas will be able to do, the same thing, and it's the way to get you ready for that matchup versus Auburn on Saturday, which will be a blockbuster.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want from you before you leave, because we won't get a chance to talk to you before Saturday. I'll just have to steal your content off the SEC network. Auburn and Alabama in Tuscaloosa. They'll play at the end of the year. There is a good chance it'll be AP number 1 versus AP number 2, probably 1 and 6 in the Ken Palm. Game day is going to be there. How does that play? Why does Auburn win it? Why does Alabama win it?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. The only reason that I could jump out on a limb and say why one would win is because of home court. That's first and foremost. When looking at this, I thought when the season started, man, you looked at the rosters and watching it play out. You looked at this game and circled it and said, man, whoever wins this game, it's a possibility that they could be in the lead for the SEC regular season championship. And it still holds true if that was your thinking. The coaching chess match that's going to happen in this matchup, whether Bruce Pearl decides to extend pressure, if they can make shots and get their defense set and have defensive balance. I thought that was one of the things that was glaring with Auburn against Florida. The defensive balance of some of these shots wasn't really nobody getting back. And Florida took an opportunity with the bigs running, the wings running, to be able to get out and run. So I think that's something that's going to get the box checked when you looked at them playing in Alabama. Alabama, they got to cut down on turnovers. If you want to win this game at home, knowing the way the crowd and the adrenaline is going to be pumping, you can't give Auburn any free buckets. You got to make them score with a man in front over and over and run their offense, and you be able to sit there and guard the way you are. You can't give anything cheap. The deflections, letting them get out and run. Not only will they go finish at the rim, but they got Denver Jones and Miles Kelly that will go to the corners or the wing and Baker Mazar and fill it up from 3. So, man, control turnovers. If you're Alabama, you can win this game. And if you're Auburn, just go be you and be efficient, and everything will be fine. It's going to be ruckus, though, boy. This is, golly, I would pay money to be at this game.
We have not had Slay on since it was announced. He is one of the latest to be inducted in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
Congratulations, man.
That's got to be really cool. I mean, you played high school basketball in that state.
No.
And football?
Ain't no excuse. Don't excuse yourself. I will go upstairs and get them back-to-back state football championship rings if you want me to. I was out. Listen. I was playing, I know it's old, I was playing when it was called split end. On my varsity jacket, I got SE split end. It's a great honor, man. I appreciate you guys acknowledging it, man. I just look at it as somebody left a side window or a door open, and I snuck off in that thing, man. It's an honor, man, being from Nashville. I call myself the Tennessee Mutt, being born in Memphis, raised in Chattanooga, and bred right here in Nashville. And I always try to represent and carry the state and the city on my back, man. Wherever I go, you can hear that Nashville twang in my voice, and you can see me on the court some point, pumping my fist, man, and being able to be in this new state, man. This new platform is pretty cool, man, to be able to have that voice.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, and you're very, very deserving. Little T got a kick out of him saying he's bringing the whole city. Hashtag no roof on the hall. Ain't no roof on the hall, man. You can bring anybody you want.
Ooh, it's going to be a wild night. I can promise you that.
Thank you, Slay. Always good talking with you, my man. Congrats.
No doubt. Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, buddy. That is Ron Slay, SEC Network, soon to be in the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Can't imagine anyone more deserving. That is State of Tennessee, not Tennessee Volunteer. He's already in that one, by the way.
That's right.
So Ron Slay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.